Back. It's time for Magrunner Dark Pulse. And if you haven't heard of the game, I think you're going to really enjoy it. It's a very cool puzzle action kind of game. And here to talk about it is Olga Ryzko from 3 AM Games and Frogwares. Olga, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much.
We're really glad to have you guys here. Magrunner Dark Pulse, we're going to start up just jump right into some gameplay right now so people can get a look at it. But why don't you give us a little introduction, tell people where they are, because this is like some strange chamber and there's some weird testing happening.
Kind of. So Magrunner Dark Pulse is actually, it's better. So it's the first-person puzzle game. And at the moment we are set in the space exploration training program.
Okay.
This is the special facility that the huge corporation has built for the program. And we're participating in that kind of training.
So they're training with some sort of strange sci-fi electro gun thingy. Or is that an arm? What is that?
So you're playing like Dex Seaward, the young Magrunner.
Okay.
And you have this special mag glove, which you're using to manipulate, to change the polarities of these some special mag tag objects. So we're having this special fancy little yellow things that you are going to manipulate with.
And so we just saw the player grab some of those and use them almost as like a spring or as a jumping elevated platform to jump off of to proceed to the next area?
So the mechanic is pretty simple. You attract things or you repel them.
Okay.
That's it. There is nothing more to explore. And you have like plenty of ways to do that. You have the huge potential for experimentations. So you can fly on them, you can jump on them, you can walk on some of them, so on and so forth.
And it looks like, we're getting a little voiceover here and a holographic, multi-armed... Who is this guy just appearing right there?
So it's Gamaji, a friend of yours, and he's going to help you throughout the game.
And so he's creating, you're able to create points now of magnetic attraction?
Right. So Gamaji actually, he has just updated the maglev for us, and now we are having the magnetic dog, Newton. And you can use him like every time you need some magnetic charge, the movable object.
Oh, I see. There you go, and so we're sort of moving it along and along, and it's an adorable little doggy.
A cute one.
All right, and so visually, you guys are you've got the red and the green to distinguish between the different polarities.
You can change actually colors inside of the settings of the game.
Okay.
Which
might be helpful for people who are colorblind, actually.
Exactly. Which
we actually have a few of at GameSpot, and when you have so many games that are color-based like this, that's a great touch to add, so that just makes it more accessible so more people can enjoy it. So obviously, well, this area looks a little bit more rough and ready, but a little more destroyed almost than the previous one we were just in, which was very clean, very white.
Exactly.
Has something gone wrong here?
So we are starting, the game itself is split into 3 different settings. So you're starting to play, with the really clean facility. At some point, something goes bad. Very, very bad. And the training program turns out to be the horror survival game.
Okay, but by that time you sort of know how to do stuff and you've got your abilities and what have you.
Exactly, so we are starting with very simple mechanics. And as soon as you feel comfortable with them, you are able to progress and to move further,
All right, now can you just tell us a little bit more about where you are that something went really bad? You're saying this person is a Magrunner, that's the name of the game, and that's who your character is, that class of individual, and it's sort of a secret organization or some kind of scientific research place that you're inhabiting?
Eventually, it was started by the huge corporate Krukersberg Corporation. It started like the social network that's available everywhere in the world. Everyone is there. And at some point, they have started experimenting with different technologies. And this is where this MagTech technology comes from.
Now, who is the... Of course, this is a first-person game, so you don't get to look at yourself, but we saw Gamaji, that's another character you interact with. Are there many other characters that you encounter in the course of the story?
Not a lot. We do have some characters. We do have some journalists, some Grukesbear himself, some Gamaji and Newton to interact with, but not numerous. Not really new.
All right, and so, you know, as we watch these puzzles, you know, get completed and the characters working their way through, are there any further abilities in terms of sort of, you know, we've seen them pick up and put down objects, we've seen them move around that, manipulate these sort of special objects that seem to have a charge, the red, that glow red or glow green. It's basically, are there any other sort of different elements that come into play a little bit later on or earlier?
You're starting just with, at the beginning of the game, just with a cube, or two of them. At some point, again, as you progress with the game, we are adding more elements to interact with. So you're going to play with some platforms, with some triggers, with transformers, catapults, so on and so forth.
Now I'm looking in the Twitch chat where people are asking some questions.
Cool.
Padbot is curious to know if there's any cooperative play, if you can team up with anyone and use your magnetic powers in tandem.
When we just started working on the game, that was something that we really wanted to have. At this point, it's not really working well.
Okay.
To make, like, you know, the awesome game. We're still not dropping the idea, but the game will arrive like at the end of the month, just like it is, single-player game. Maybe at some point we're gonna add something, if the players really demand that.
Well, because there's also been an element, correct me if I'm wrong, there's been an element of crowdfunding involved with Magrunner as well.
Exactly. We made it last summer, and the game was partially crowdfunded. So we funded the game ourselves, and we just like asked for a little bit input from the players, just to see the interest of them.
And folks showed some interest, yes?
Exactly, even more than some.
That's great. Congratulations.
Anyone have any idea what's in
in one of those videos talking about crowdfunding, I think, you know, we talked, the user was just asking about cooperative play, but there's also competitive play or, you know, PvP, some kind of match like that. Is there any competition elements here? Maybe racing to solve puzzles together or trying to solve it faster than the other person?
Well, the main focus of the game, it's not the speed of the game that you are looking to. We're not limiting the time. It's not the timer for the game. It's more like, it's more your reactions and your ability to quickly think.
And I gotta ask you to comment on this giant monster head that's jutting itself through the wall. We just caught a glimpse of it earlier. This sort of, we're doing this neat little swing puzzle using that repulsor point at the bottom. But what is this crazy demon that people are catching a glimpse of jutting its head and coming through the wall here?
They're coming from Lovecraftian Cthulhu mythos. That's the way the game turns out to be, the survival.
Lovecraftian. I think you just gained a few more fans in the chat with that phrase alone.
That's the trick.
All right, so we're seeing how these magnetic fields can interact and how you sort of have to... This looks like you're on a loop and you sort of have to gain momentum and swing back and forth, and so physics definitely plays a big part in Magrunner as well.
Definitely, definitely. So you see you have some kind of magnetic field. It's the area where this polarity works. And this is why some objects will or will not interact with each other. And we're having those predefined passes that some objects can move.
That's
it's
the
like
track.
horizontally or just vertically or just like with the huge center.
I just keep wanting to get more glimpses of that weird long-tongued demon. That thing is terrifying. Speaking of which, Padbot is curious, you know, given the sort of incursion of this horrible Lovecraftian beast, are you going to at any point have to contend with enemies or, you know, other obstacles beyond just the puzzle?
So the third setting of the game, it will introduce some monsters for us.
Okay.
We are going to see them probably in a couple of minutes in the video. we are going to fight with them. Some of them we are going to fight. Some of them we are going to run, and run fast as you can.
Because, I don't know, when the thing looks that big and has those teeth and that tongue, I would want to run.
Right, that's what I do.
All right, so Magrunner Dark Pulse. The puzzle game set in a world that starts off as a very scientific, very austere situation. Things go south. There's an incursion of these Lovecraftian aliens. Everything is horrible. You have to contend with demons. What is, do you want the player to ever be scared of the situation, or is it just more about presenting them with new challenges to really make them have to work their wits and their cleverness?
I'd say that it really depends on the players. Some would find it funny, extremely funny. Someone would be scared, hopefully. Like
what
I
about
am.
you?
I am. I definitely am.
I'm pretty easily scared by horror games, as folks who have been watching the stream during these 3 days of E3 know. So I would probably be in that camp as well. So folks are asking about online play, but that's something you said maybe in the future you'll be working on. This is a single-player experience predominantly.
At this
currently.
point, it is.
And what kind of platforms are you guys hoping to publish Magrunner Dark Pulse on?
So the game will arrive at the end of the month for PC.
Okay.
Later this year, I suppose September, we're going to have it for Xbox 360 and PS3 as well.
Excellent. Very exciting. Olga, is there anything else you'd like to tell folks about Magrunner Dark Pulse before we wrap up here?
Well, we're really hoping that the players would have a look on the game.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on here on stage. Magrunner Dark Pulse out on PC soon, and then Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 later on. Olga, thank you very much.
Thank you, Fred.
All right, that's Magrunner Dark Pulse, folks. Coming up next, it's more horror games. It's Dying Light. I'm going to leave because it scares me, but I'll be back a little later. Just got a few more live demos here on GameSpot Stage 1 live at E3.